It is, of course, for me a very proud moment to be standing and speaking to you on the eve of the signing of this agreement. We have, from the inception of the company, moved to analyze and identify the areas in which we should move to improve the efficiency of the company and, by extension, improve the quality of service which we render to our customers or consumers, whichever word you want to use. Our technical staff has identified what we in SKELEC have termed an end-to-end project, which entails the improvement of our meter reading sector, which, like you know, is the base of our revenue collection, and also improvement in our transmission and distribution and generation systems. The project is in two parts. One, which is acronym SCADA, S-C-A-D-A, and the other, the SMI, Smart Metering Infrastructure and Smart Metering Project, which is the one in which we are concentrating on today, and the part of the end-to-end project, the contract part of the end-to-end project, which we will be signing hopefully in a few minutes' time. This, upon its execution, will deal with a very fundamental issue within the utility, and that is being able to identify with computer-like exactitude the extent of our customers, the manner in which our meters are used and in most cases abused, and to put a stop to the level of losses which we suffer because of the abuses of the metering system. So we are very anxious to see this project implemented, and I would want at this time to thank all of the SKELEC staff who have in any way contributed to the discussions and contract negotiations today. As you had heard mentioned, it has been a very long process. Perhaps something more than a year ago, we sent out what was called an RFP, which is really a request for proposals to improve the system. It was done on the tendering basis. Tenders were returned and analyzed, and we are where we are, having selected the companies that we have because we thought that those were the best of the proposals which we had. As I was speaking with Mr. Sabatka just prior to coming here, he reminded me that Corinex was the only company in making the submission when offered the SMI, or the Smart Metering Infrastructure, which is way beyond in terms of technological improvement, the AMI, which is the Automated Metering Infrastructure. And so we go to the SMI virtually in a pioneering type of status, because it isn't anything that is prevalent throughout the world. And it is a system that will, apart from the monitoring the reading of meters, also provide information from which we can do energy analysis and derive all the benefits which come from that. So I would want to thank Mr. Sabatka for that presentation. I would also want at this stage to thank Mr. Sabatka for the level of expertise which he brought to the negotiating table. I dare say that Corinex is an internationally and a company of international reputation. And the truth is that I think very often during the negotiation and the discussion, Mr. Sabatka might have been hard-pressed to understand the idiosyncrasies of SKELEC coming from a third world country. And of course, when you put me at the head of anything, what you get in negotiation is demands. So they are demanding all sorts of things which, in his experience dealing with big international corporations, he had never been subjected to. But that's the characteristic that you have to deal with in this part of the world, and we all were trying to get the best that we could for SKELEC. Mr. Sabatka has been very patient, and I think at the end of the day, we all had reached a stage where we were satisfied with what we were getting out of those negotiations. I would want also to particularly mention at this stage and thank our former CEO, Mr. William Brooks, for the part which he played, because he was the CEO at the inception of this project, and he did offer leadership for a significant period of time prior to reaching where we are today. We also are going to sign today something which is called an umbrella agreement. And that umbrella agreement recognizes that the other part of the end-to-end project, the SKELEC part, will be carried out by another commonly called the grid. That is the substations, etc. Transformers is the local name that is applied to it. And it is also to automate that system, make it a system that is computerized such that if and when there are any deficiencies in the system, it will show itself on a computer monitor at our NISMAS complex, which will enable our maintenance staff to move with that much more speed and accuracy, because they will be able to pinpoint exactly what area of St. Kitts or what area of the grid a particular problem might be occurring. And so the umbrella agreement recognizes that Carinex and another company with whom we are in advanced stage of negotiation will be carrying out the work. The work will have to be carried out to a large part in tandem. And the umbrella agreement seeks to recognize that and have both Carinex and the other company understand that they will have to work in cooperation with each other such that SKELEC can get what it wants expeditiously and get the best of it. So those are the two sections of the project contract documents which we will sign today. Means of necessity when we are completed with the SKELEC negotiations that we'll have to sign contracts also with that company. I don't know if at this point in time there's much more that I could or should say. Suffice it that we look forward to a fruitful relationship with Carinex as we go forward. Having signed today, the contractual arrangements are that there is something called an effective date for the contract. We have 60 days in which we can get everything together such that Carinex will be on the ground in 60 days or less, having put all of the pre-contract conditions in place. We want to thank at this stage very profoundly on behalf of the entire SKELEC family, the government for its guidance and for affording us the opportunity of taking SKELEC where we are taking it. And we trust that as we move forward, it will be to the satisfaction of the government as we try to implement government policy in the most effective manner possible. It would be entirely remiss of me if I did not also single out Mr. Crosman and the entity which he represents, the Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation, who are our financial sponsors. The contract which we are signing today is to the tune of some $10.1 million US, and SIDF are our sponsors, and I would want Mr. Crosman on behalf of SKELEC to thank you most profoundly for your interest and for accommodating us, and also for your patience with us, because I think anybody who has to deal with me understands that if they're not patient, then there's a problem, because I am not possibly the easiest person to deal with. So Mr. Crosman, I do appreciate your patience, and I want to again put on record our profound thanks to you. Ladies and gentlemen, at least for the time being, I think that's all I would say, and I want to thank you all also for your support here this morning. Thank you very much.